In order to change an existing paradigm, you do not struggle to try and change the problematic model. You create a new model and make the old one obsolete. Richard Buckminster Fuller, owner of 24 Patents.
I'm not talking to a group of people. I'm not talking to a squad. I'm talking to you. Because today, you matter more to me than anybody else on the planet Earth. You. This is about you. When I'm talking, who am I talking to? When I'm talking to him, who am I talking to? When I ask you who I'm talking to, I want everybody's mouth to move. Everybody has to know how to tackle. Because it's instant offense and it's instant defense. It's an interception or a fumble. And guys on offense have to know how to tackle better than the guys on defense because they do it the least. And that moment when you do it wrong can cost you your very life.
Their future is in our hands. Our future is in theirs. The problem. Each year, there are more than 448,000 reported football-related injuries to youth under the age of 15, totaling more than $6.89 billion in medical, legal, and liability costs.
A high school football player on Long Island, New York, has died after colliding with another player and then collapsing on the field. During a game on Wednesday, doctors say the 17-year-old suffered a head injury and was rushed into surgery, but he died a short time later. According to ESPN, he is the third high school football player in the United States to die.
Seattle high school football player dies from game injury. A 17-year-old high school football player died on Monday morning in Washington State from injuries suffered during a football game, making him the fourth high school football player in the U.S. to die in the last month due to injuries sustained on a football field. Kenny Bowie was a senior defensive back and wide receiver for Evergreen High School in Seattle. He was injured while making a tackle in the fourth quarter of last Friday night's game against Highline High School at Highline Memorial Field. Bowie suffered traumatic brain injury from the tackle, and paramedics rushed him to the Harborview Medical Center. He underwent surgery, but died late Monday morning. Bowie's family requested privacy. Classmates brought balloons and flowers to a makeshift memorial at the school's campus.
So the numbers are shocking. A seventh high school football player dying after playing in a game.
Last year, 5 high school students died of football-related injuries. That's a number we've already passed. 7th high school player to die just 7 weeks into the football season, raising concerns over the safety of the sport. One weekend earlier, Texas junior Cameron Matthews collapsed on the sidelines, his death attributed to a brain aneurysm. In September, star quarterback Evan Murray died after taking multiple hard hits on a New Jersey football field. But the top concern for parents continues to be concussion.
Andre Smith is the 7th high school football player nationwide to die this year, and every death rekindles a debate about whether the sport played by 1 million American high school kids is worth the cost. Dean Reynolds, CBS News, Chicago.
I'm Coach Bobby Hosea. The recent spate of stories about young football players losing their lives or being paralyzed while playing tackle football are tragic and sad, and are very stark reminders that changes, very dramatic changes, are needed. Since most traumatic brain, neck, and spinal cord injuries are the result of players initiating contact with the crown of their helmet while in the act of making a tackle, the key ingredient missing is a standard of care for teaching tackling. Standard of care is a legal term which means you have done your due diligence to minimize what is most dangerous about any activity. There are actual instructions that are inherently dangerous in the very DNA of the game since its inception, and most coaches don't even know it. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And in tackle football, the most dangerous aspect of the sport is making a tackle, but it can be made less dangerous if coaches knew how to readily identify, eliminate, and replace the physical mechanisms, the tackling terminology, the tackling drills, and tackling techniques that lead directly to crown first impact or helmet exposure to contact while a defender is in the act of making a tackle. In 1997, while my son was playing his first year of tackle football, I was no different than any other parent. I was deathly afraid of my son getting hurt to the point where he couldn't get up off the ground. So I created a tackling technique called the Dip and Rip Sticks Words to Play By 12-Step Tackle Progression. It is now known as the Hosea Method and trademarked as the Helmet-Free Tackle Training System. In 2011, LA 84 Foundation, one of the largest funders of youth sports in California, commissioned a scientific research study to determine if the Hosea method was effective at lowering head impact while defenders were in the act of making a tackle. The result of that phase 1 study showed that the Hosea method removed 100% of the crown from the tackle when compared to the traditional tackling technique that registered all the impacts to the crown of the head. We can do better. We must do better. We will do better. Thank you. And remember, our children's future is in our hands. Our future is in theirs. Thank you. And coming soon, my helmet-free tackle safety and performance training course to educate parents, players, and coaches on how to play safe, effective tackle football and reduce the risk of concussions, neck, and spinal cord injuries. To save our game, one player at a time.